Hi, guys. I'm going to try this one more time. Let me know if you can hear me. I mean, I'm on here like 7 times on my feeds. I apologize if you guys still can't hear me. I really don't know what is going on. StreamYard, you're usually so good to me. I don't know what's really happening. But if you can't hear me, or if you can, let me know. So if anybody still wants to hang in there with me and you pop back on and you let me know if you can hear. I don't necessarily know why it's not working. Carol, you can hear? Yes? Yes. Okay. I mean, so crazy. Such a crazy thing. All right. I'm doing my best. Yes, you can hear. Yes, Lisa. Okay. Yes. Well, welcome back, everyone. Can hear. All right. It works out. It works out. So wonderful. Well, I'm so excited that I'm able to continue to do this, even if technology is not necessarily on my side. I want to make sure that you guys are all hanging on in there. I know that this is a crazy, crazy time, to say the least, and I typically stay pretty focused, and I'm going to stay pretty focused today on, and today's topic for our morning message. My goal is obviously for you not to be inspired for the day, but to stay motivated at least all week by whatever it is I'm hoping moves you within the moment. And today it's really about confusion. Yes. And I think that a lot of us are willing to live in confusion. And what I mean by that is, like, we're willing to not necessarily know how the soup is made. It is easier to not know how things get done. It's just easier just to eat the soup. I know my analogies are getting worse and worse, but it's the truth, right? You don't want to necessarily know how it's made. I don't really want to know how it's made. I just want to make sure that it tastes good. Don't tell me, don't burden me with that piece. But I feel like if we don't know how things are made, we don't necessarily know if it is made for us. And I think that what I'm asking for us all to do is just be far more inquisitive as to the world around us than we currently are. I think that we are constantly just in a space, give it to me, let me digest it as it is, and let me not understand. Let me live comfortably in a state of confusion, as opposed to asking the necessary questions in order to feel better about any particular situation. It is just easier to receive than to question. And confusion seems to be a place in which the majority of us choose to live. Whether it's, and we are willing participants in this state of confusion. We are willing participants in not understanding the recipe, but being willing to eat the food. We are very, 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 very okay with that. I'm confused. I'm not really quite sure, but I'm going to continue to digest it. I'm going to continue to, my goodness, not only digest it, but share it. Not knowing that the people that I'm sharing it with are allergic to the ingredients within the recipe. Is everybody following me? Because I really think that it's important that we stop being confused. Stop just taking in things and not necessarily understanding their origin or where they came from or what it stands for, and just in complete, just welcoming of nonsense. And I know, and I'm saying this to say this because I am equally as exhausted. I don't want one more thing to figure out. I don't want one more thing to learn, and I know that a lot of you may be in that same boat where it's like, okay, am I, Sheldon, how much more can I digest? How much more can I dig in? I don't want to be the cook. I just want to eat, right? To continue the analogy. But the truth of the matter is that we need to start being inquisitive. We need to start being inquisitive for the selfish, simple fact that we want to be able to make intelligent decisions and move in a way in which we are competent about. And this doesn't have to do necessarily or wholeheartedly with the election or COVID, but it has to do with life in general. I think that we have become very, very comfortable being ignorant to the most basic things because it is too much for us to handle. It is too overwhelming to know more. It is too daunting for us to ask questions. It is too uncomfortable for us to dive into things in which, oh my goodness, I don't understand. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. If you can follow a plot line in a Netflix series, you can figure out the majority of things in life. It is a choice that we are making to live in confusion. It is a choice that we are making to say, I don't have time to care, or I don't know. We prioritize the things in which we have time for. Let's be honest. If it had to do with my children, age 9 and age 3, I wouldn't just give them something, right? I need to know what's in it. What is in it? Don't get me wrong. I mean, it has been a really, it's only Wednesday, but it's been a chicken nugget week, right? But it's about figuring those particular things out. It's about saying, okay, I am not going to live in a space of confusion. I'm just not going to be okay. I'm not going to settle in being confused. I'm going to embrace that I do not know something, and I'm going to begin to ask questions. I'm going to begin to do that. I'm going to begin to ask questions. I'm going to begin to dive into things in which I'm not familiar with, or things that are a little bit more uncomfortable, so I can be better for it. I'm going to begin to do that. I'm going to begin to be able to say, being confused is not the answer. Being confused is not the way in which I want to live my life, because I want to be able to have intelligent conversations, right? And I know that it is exhausting, because I am tired. I'm tired of knowing stuff. I mean, that is a privilege in and of itself. I'm just tired of knowing things, because we are just inundated with messages all the time. But there are certain things in life for yourself, for your person, for personally and professionally, that we have to be better at asking the necessary questions or finding the necessary guidance, so we are not in a space where we are living our lives confused and making decisions based on that confusion. That's the space that I'm interested in. Hey, Ava, how are you, hon? That's the space that I'm concerned about. Because we're making decisions, we're living our life in a haze, because we're too tired and too overwhelmed in order to gain clarity in whatever it is that we're doing, and whatever it is that we're talking about, and whatever it is that we're saying. We're okay in being confused. And the danger in that space is that then we just pass on more confusion, right? Where I am owing myself, and for all of you, as I show up for you every day, is to make sure that you are no longer as confused today as you were yesterday. That's my hope, is that we are all better for the time spent. And we release the confusion, the willingness to be confused. And it's not about, I'm confused, I ask a question and I'm still confused. Okay, fair. But I'm talking about those of us that are living our lives confused. Like, I don't know that, and I don't want to know that, but I'm still going to make decisions about it. What? It makes no sense. We're in a space where we have the power to gain clarity. We have the power to understand. We have the power to communicate with each other, to sit with our own thoughts and learn. All these books and all the videos, we have more access now than ever. Because it is about priorities and what you want to learn. Because half of you are Googling stuff on YouTube, figuring out how to clean out drains and change tires and, DIY your shiplap and all of those things. You're no longer confused about all of those things. You're no longer confused about all of those things. You are confused about things that make you feel uncomfortable, or you're confused about things that might force you to go one way or the other. And I want you to be comfortable stepping into clarity. Comfortable being okay, good morning, Barbara, with what you don't know, and stepping out of confusion. I want that to be the case. I want you to live in a space, in a life, in a time where you feel like you can be okay not knowing and take the steps to know. Knowing that, and I say that because I know that being inquisitive is exhausting. Because I can raise my hand and say that I am living in a space where being inquisitive takes time. Knowing the answers, trying to figure out the answers, trying to find the resource, trying to find somebody who wants to help me understand, trying to find somebody who wants to be patient with me. All of those things take time. Good morning, Charmaine. All of those things take time. All of those things is a sense of exhaustion, feeling vulnerable that you don't have the answers, feeling sad that you can't figure it all out at this time, feeling kind of ashamed that you didn't know it before. All of those things keep us confused. And what we need to do for each other, what we need to do for our children, what we need to do for those in our community is to gain clarity when we are confused. and stop choosing to live in a space of confusion, because the confusion is more convenient than being clear. That is what I need for us to begin to do. The heavy lifting of our mental state, the heavy lifting of challenging ourselves to think about things a little bit differently, or opening our mind to a different perspective, or being brave enough to be like, I have no idea what you are talking about, as opposed to nodding your head aimlessly as somebody explains something to you. At the very least, get up, Google it, figure it out yourself. We are filled in a world of access, in a world where there is nothing that we can't learn. But for whatever reason, we choose to live in confusion, maybe out of the fear that what I've believed for so long is not the truth, or what I thought to be true is no longer the case. But what I cannot have happen is for us to willingly live in a haze in which we do not have the answers to the questions in which we seek. That's what I really believe needs to happen. And I know that it is hard for a lot of us to think about one more stinking thing to do, one more thing I gotta learn. I just want you to deliver the information to me. I don't want to be an active participant in my own thought process. I don't want to be an active participant and have my own opinion on anything. I want to be in a space where I receive. But we are lucky enough to be in a space where we can be inquisitive, and we can draw additional conclusions and ask more questions, and not just receive information, where we can be smarter today, where we can challenge ourselves. But I'm saying that to know, I'm saying that to be clear on the fact that it will require work. This inquisitive nature, this lack of confusion will require participation. It will require a want from all of you to be like, I'm gonna raise my hand. I don't get it. I remember being younger in school, grade school. I'd sit in a class completely confused. I'm not gonna raise my hand. I don't want anybody to know I don't know. And then she's gonna challenge me, teacher. Then she's gonna ask me more questions. Then she's gonna keep calling on me. I'm gonna fall into the wayside, and I'm not gonna say a thing. I'm not gonna do anything in hopes, right? In hopes that I can just get by, that I can go from one class to another and be left alone. And whatever it is that I retain from this class, this 45 minutes, will do me as good as it's going to do me. I'm okay being confused. I'm okay just being okay. But all of us can be better than okay. All of us can have clarity versus confusion. All of us can be in a space where we can have the answers to our questions. We just have to be willing to participate. A lot of us are confused, but a lot of us, even worse off, are okay being confused. So it's not the confusion that's going to get us, because I can't sit here and tell you that you will never be confused again. The confusion is the trigger. That's the alert. That is to say, I am confused. I recognize I do not know. That is a beautiful thing. What you do once you recognize that you don't know, that's when we start getting confused. It's like, I don't know. I'm good. I'm fine. Somebody's going to tell me what to do. And we have lost control over what it is that we bring into our world, how we navigate information, what information that we share. We don't know the ingredients within the recipe, but we eat it anyway. And for me, I want us to be active participants out of our confusion, so we can have intelligent conversations, so we know that the opinions that we have belong to us, and that we can eat well. That is what I want. And I know that it is harder said than done. I know that it is a difficult situation. I know that it is a lot of heavy lifting. It requires time spent. It requires you questioning who you are and what you stand for and all of those things. I appreciate that. But your business will be better for it. You personally will be better for it. I can say, not only was I the young child that didn't want to ask questions, but as a business owner, I was the same thing. I was like, I got this. No problem. I did not get it. I did not. I've said this multiple times to people who follow me. I'm awful at math. And I tried so desperately to fake the funk. You can't fake it. You know how I say that? I can't fake it till you make it. There's no such thing. Either you got it or you don't have it. So a lot of painful years, a lot of ugly bank accounts, a lot of those things for me, not asking the necessary questions, not getting the necessary support, being comfortable being confused. Could have saved a lot of people and myself a lot of time and a lot of money by hitting it head on, but by not being okay, just being okay, by saying that I no longer I'm going to live in confusion and hopefully it's not a priority. I'm going to dive into the items within this recipe. I'm going to know every single ingredient. I'm going to be clear on what I am putting into my body and into my mind and into my life so I can make better decisions. Confusion is going to happen. There's so much in this world that we have no idea about and we're not clear on. But what we do once we recognize that we are confused, or once we recognize that we don't have all the answers, what do? Do we retreat and live in that confused space? Or do we make active steps in order to gain clarity? And what I'm asking you to do today is if you are confused on anything, personally, professionally, whatever, is to take active steps in order for you to gain clarity. Before making a decision, before just settling for that piece of confusion, before allowing for you to live in a space where you're unsure and uncertain. There is clarity for things in which we are confused about. Or there is support from people that know more than us, that can provide us with more information. Before we navigate our space, before we make definite decisions, we need to make sure that we are functioning in a space of clarity. And surrender being confused as a lifestyle. I just don't know. And that doesn't mean you're going to know everything about everything, but once you are confronted with confusion, you should take active steps to gain clarity. That is my hope for you. So we don't continue digesting things we have no understanding as to what the ingredients are. So now that you can hear me, that is my morning message for today. My goal is for you all to find your voice, for you all to no longer whisper your wishes, but for you to scream your dream. And I want you to do it not as being inspired for a day, but staying motivated for as long as you can. I come to you each and every day, sound permitted, at 11 o'clock Eastern in hopes of having you find the tools necessary to tell your story. This is it. Network is your global digital TV network connecting remarkable women to inspiring stories. I'm Sheldon Bartlett-Rumer, and this is it. I will see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Gain clarity. See you soon.